She began to receive letters from elderly people in distant villages who felt inspired to start sewing, writing poems, or learning to play harmonium again. She read these letters at night, her eyes filled with tears, realizing that her words were traveling farther than any airplane could ever carry her body. Asha often thought about the strange power of stories, how they could travel through paper, through radio waves, through whispered bedtime moments, and ignite hidden sparks. She felt honored to be a vessel for these sparks, to be a silent companion in people's rooms, hearts, and lonely corners where hope had once been forgotten. Her children watched her with newfound awe, realizing that they had underestimated the depth and strength of their mother's spirit for so many years. They began to see her not just as a mother but as a pioneer of dreams, a quiet warrior who had learned to bloom even in the late seasons of life. Neighbors started calling her the lighthouse, because her presence guided others back to their own inner light, helping them navigate storms of doubt and fear. On festival days, the dream nest was decorated with colorful lanterns and fresh flowers, and people gathered from nearby towns to celebrate life and creativity. Children performed puppet shows based on her stories, young artists painted live murals, and musicians played songs inspired by her message of courage and love. During these festivals, Asha sat at the center like a gentle queen, surrounded by laughter, songs, and the bright eyes of dreamers of all ages. She no longer felt the loneliness that had once weighed on her like an invisible cloak. Instead, she felt wrapped in an endless embrace of community. She often thought that the best medicine for a lonely heart was not pills or doctors but shared laughter, shared stories, and shared dreams. At night, when the festivals ended and the lanterns flickered out, she would sit by her window and watch the moonlight paint silver paths on her garden. She whispered to the moon her deepest gratitude, thanking it for lighting her nights even when her dreams had seemed so far away. She believed that each dream she helped awaken was like a small star added to the night sky, making the world just a bit brighter. She felt that the universe itself listened when someone dared to dream, rearranging invisible threads to make magic happen in unexpected ways. Children started telling her about their own secret lists, like climbing mountains, writing songs, traveling to the jungle, or learning to dance in the rain. She encouraged them to keep those lists close but not to wait too long to start, because life is not promised and tomorrow is a mystery wrapped in fragile hope. She told them that it was okay to start small, that even planting one seed today was better than dreaming of a whole forest and never moving. Asha became a symbol of living proof that it was never too late to rewrite your story, to become the main character of your own adventure. She often said that age is simply a number that counts your years but cannot measure the size of your spirit or the depth of your courage. Her garden, once quiet and ordinary, now overflowed with colors, laughter, and tiny footprints as children played among the flowers she loved so much. She began to hold garden story mornings, where children would gather under the big mango tree and listen to her newest tales while birds sang overhead. These mornings became the highlight of each week, and parents sometimes joined, sitting on mats and rediscovering the joy of listening without hurry. Even the local stray dogs began to gather around, lying peacefully, as if they too understood the magic of her gentle voice and the warmth of human connection. Asha noticed that when people listened to stories together, barriers of age, background, and worries melted away, leaving only shared humanity and smiles. She felt that stories were like invisible threads weaving hearts together, creating a tapestry of shared dreams and quiet courage. Her health, once delicate and fragile, seemed to glow with new strength as if her body too had decided to live more fully because her soul had chosen to bloom. She still had days when her knees ached or her hands trembled, but she saw these not as weaknesses but as reminders of her journey and her resilience. On such days she would rest in her chair, surrounded by letters and drawings, feeling the energy of all the lives she had touched and inspired. She felt that every wrinkle on her face was a line in her own storybook, each one representing a chapter filled with lessons, heartbreaks, joys, and rebirths. She sometimes traced these lines with her fingers, smiling softly, feeling immense gratitude for every moment that had led her to this place of purpose. Her son began recording her stories, turning them into audiobooks so that even more people could hear her words, especially those who could not read. Listening to her own voice played back felt strange at first, but soon she found comfort in knowing that her stories would echo even after she was gone. She thought often about impermanence and how everything in life passes, but she believed that acts of love and courage leave echoes that never fade. She knew she would not live forever, but she felt at peace because she had planted forests of dreams that would continue to grow long after her final breath. Sometimes, when visitors asked her for advice, she would say, "Live today as if it is your first chance and your last chance at the same time." She believed that living fully was not about big adventures in distant lands but about finding magic in the smallest gestures and moments. She encouraged people to look at each sunrise as a blank page, waiting for them to write new dreams in the soft golden light. She told them to dance when their favorite song played, even if no one else joined, and to laugh loudly, even if the world expected quiet. She believed that courage was not always a roar but often a quiet voice at night whispering, "I will try again tomorrow." As she looked back on her life, she saw her younger self standing beside her, no longer sad or disappointed but smiling, finally feeling seen and fulfilled. She felt as if all her past selves, the young girl, the teacher, the grieving widow, the lonely retiree, had merged into one luminous being of love and creation. She knew that she had not wasted her life but had only been gathering stories and strength to share in ways she never could have imagined. She felt her spirit expand beyond the walls of her small house, beyond the borders of her town, reaching out like a warm breeze touching countless lives. She saw her life as a long, winding river that had flowed patiently, carrying stories, dreams, and seeds to faraway lands, creating unseen gardens. When she saw children reading her books under trees or drawing with bright crayons, she saw parts of her own heart blooming in colors she had never dared to imagine.